downloaded anything or played with an e-reader in any way, shape, or form. So we don't have any, just one brand new beginner. Okay, that's actually not a bad thing, because as most of you that are on the front lines probably know, I think the most difficult part of this is just getting it set up. Once you get that patron going and everything is set up correctly, it's usually smooth sailing. At that point, the only issues we tend to encounter are if there's a corrupt file with a book, or somebody doesn't understand the expiration of titles, or they think they have to return it, and all of that kind of stuff. What we're going to do today, David and I were talking yesterday about our approach, because I knew that we would be probably talking to people that have messed with this before. So we're just going to start rambling off knowledge and try to show you places that you can go if you forget what we said. Let's start with access points today, okay? This is where David and I were talking, we're like, I think this is where it can be most confusing for people. So how do they actually use this stuff? Which is probably the biggest issue, because it's really hard to say to somebody or clearly explain where they want to go and what they want to do, because you have all these different devices. Are you using it from your computer, or are you using it from your device and direct download, and what happens if you use your computer with this thing? Okay. So access points. You have basically two general access point areas. One is kind of, we can call the old school way, which is right from your computer, which is you download the proper software to get the titles on your machine. You go out to the eMedia website, you pick out your title, you check it out, you download it, it gets transferred to your machine, and you use it either using Adobe Digital Editions for ebooks or the Overdrive Media Console for any of the audio files. So that would be audiobooks, music, and video. The other access point is what? I see some out there. Right, your mobile device. Okay, and there is an Overdrive app for pretty much any mobile device. So let's talk about getting somebody started. You probably want to, from our eMedia site, if you're trying to get them ready to go with everything they need to have, this is the links to the different Overdrive media software, okay? You also, and this is what a lot of people forget, and it can be a little intimidating because it's not laid out very web-friendly. From the help button, take somebody to the quick start guide. I was looking at this yesterday, and I think 90% of the questions that I get can be answered right from this page. People, you know, our patrons, they just want you to tell them how to do it. They don't want to have to go and figure it out themselves. But I was just at Computers and Libraries, and somebody was doing a presentation on SharePoint. You guys know what SharePoint is? Very complicated back-end system for like an intranet and document management and blah, blah, blah. And he said it perfectly. I was thinking of, this so pertains to our eMedia collection. With power comes complication, and you need to have the ability to know a little bit. You need to know a little bit more about using it. So if you want to be flexible and have all of these options that we have, you're going to have to be able to think about how you're going to approach the situation and figure it out logistically. Okay? Freegal is a perfect example of something that's nice and simple. Well, why is Freegal simple? One publisher and one system. So with our eMedia collection, you need to remember we have over 1,000 different publishers putting titles in this collection with a whole bunch of different, well, you can do this and you can do that. You can offer my title in WMA, but you can't in MP3, and you can do this and you can do that. So there are a lot of different aspects that come together in our eMedia site, and that's what makes it complicated. However, it also gives more access. Okay? So on the general help page, the Quick Start Guide, there's an overview. It tells you what can be checked out and downloaded, so the different file formats. Let's go over these really quickly. With ebooks, you have the EPUB and the PDF. Does anybody know the difference? Okay. The big general difference is EPUB titles can do, for your patron, for the most part, this is all you need to tell them. It's files are usually lighter, usually smaller, because they're not a scanned picture like a PDF is. You guys know when you look at a PDF, it's pretty much a picture of a document. Same thing with PDF ebooks. So if you're working on a device that's small and you download a PDF, odds are you're going to have to do some crazy scrolling left and right to read, or resizing, and then the text might be too small, so on and so forth. So the EPUB, if they come in and they say, why do I want an EPUB versus a PDF? Well, it's because you can resize, and it's a lot easier to work with EPUBs. Anybody here have a Nook? My favorite reader, by the way, and I will go on record saying that. My personal favorite reader, not the libraries. If you download a PDF on the Nook, you've obviously seen that it's not as nice to read. It's not as nice of a reading experience.
That'd be like going to the website, like the library's website on my Nook and seeing that. I'd have to, it's all chopped up.
Yeah, exactly. So with EPUB, it'll take everything and it'll flow it in a column, and you can resize, and life is good. Okay, Mobi Pocket ebooks, I'm not even going to touch because I can't officially say they're going away, but I don't think, based on the EPUB technology, that it's going to be around much longer. We have some Mobi Pocket ebooks. I used to have a Trio. Do you guys remember the Trio phones? I used to read Mobi Pocket titles on my Trio all the time 5-6 years ago. It's just been replaced with better technology. So we do have some out there. You have to have different software downloaded for that. They're older titles. Your patrons probably aren't going to want those anyways. I don't think we've purchased any new Mobi Pockets in a while. The WMA audiobooks are the audiobooks that come with the infamous DRM files, the digital rights management files. There are no DRM files associated with MP3 audiobooks. Now let's talk about the difference here just a little bit. If you go into our collection and you find a frontlist title or a New York Times bestseller, odds are it's going to be in which format? If you go to our collection and you pull up a frontlist title or a bestseller audiobook, odds are it's going to be in what? WMA. Does anybody know why?
We call them copyright issues, all the protecting
Right,
stuff.
exactly. So you have publishers saying, oh, heck no, you're not going to offer this title for people to download and not have any protection on it. Bigger publishers, Books on Tape, HarperCollins, I just mean books. Brilliance Audio, that's really, romance is really popular, obviously, with our collection. Any of those, you're only going to see the titles available in WMA because they can associate a DRM file with that audiobook file, which kind of locks it down. We'll talk about that as we go along through the process.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what that means, the WMA then.
Windows Media Audio. And it's Windows Media Audio files that, it's kind of like a puzzle piece. If you have a Windows Media Audio file, you can take a DRM file and kind of plug it together and make that file only accessible for a certain amount of time. So you can think of a DRM file as kind of like a key.
And the DRM is what determines, because when you see a title and you see the record, there's digital rights management at the bottom. And it'll say you can or cannot burn it to a CD, you can or cannot transfer it to an iPod. All of those things are determined by this DRM, by the digital rights management.
That's not the optimum place to go to download a book. Is that what you're saying?
No,
No, a lot of the books are in WMA format. These are just the different formats that we
The stuff that
offer
people
books.
really want is in the protected form.
Yeah.
it's a protected format.
Yeah, the most
Okay.
popular stuff is going to be in the WMA format.
Oh,
Okay, that's because publishers are having a hard time with how this is working. I'm sorry, I keep walking out of the camera frame. Overdrive Music is WMA format. There's some music that's MP3, but again, probably the best music we have are the Naxos, the classical music stuff. That's WMA. There's some MP3 music stuff on there. What's the new? There's some stuff on there, it's okay. Overdrive video is WMV, Windows Media Video, same thing, DRM. Okay, yes.
So, these are the items that are at the bottom when I go to click on a book that I want to download. These are those icons at the bottom, right? This is the explanation for what each of those icons are.
Well, the
It'll
icons will
take this or that.
The
or that.
icons will tell you when you pull up a file, so you pull up, let's say the help, and you pull that up and it says WMA. The icons will tell you what you can put that file on,
That particular item.
that particular item.
Right,
So we
okay.
also might have the help in Adobe EPUB, which I'm pretty sure we do. So we'll have the audiobook file and the ebook file. So the icons will be different, because obviously in the audiobook, it's only going to be on some sort of audio
Right.
device, and the ebook will be, Kindle or computer.
Can you speak to the Overdrive MP3 audiobooks? I know you talked about the WMA. The MP3, is there anything to know about that?
Instead of having a DRM file attached to help with file management, or, so you have, your patrons will come across when they get ready to download the MP3, a disclaimer saying, I won't use this title for illegal uses or distribute or any of that kind of situation. We can't, like with the WMA, once the lending period is over, that DRM piece kind of locks it up and you can't get to that file. You don't have that on MP3 files. They're just open.
And so part of the agreement is that at the end of your lending period, you'll delete the files.
Right.
Oh,
So
But
are there a lot fewer titles available by MP3?
Right, and Overdrive is making a concerted effort to try to get more publishers to move to the MP3 format, but the publishers are freaked out right now. This is a whole new ballgame, as we've seen with HarperCollins. One thing to keep in mind is try not to get angry. The whole angry HarperCollins thing is really bugging me, because you have Simon & Schuster who won't even play with us right now. And HarperCollins is trying to keep their head above water, and if we don't have a HarperCollins, do we have libraries, So we have to think about how we're working with the publishing industry to make this product work for our patrons, okay? At the end of the day, it's about our patrons. So if HarperCollins wants to change their lending model, let's work with them, as opposed to getting mad at them and boycotting them. So